Hello, my Patreon friends. How are you? I hope you're well. I've got HiFi news for you. I've got some of those. I've also got a hints and tips thing. I'm going to finish off a sort of speakery. Well, I've had two speaker type hints and tips. I'm going to finish a kind of trio of hints and tips for you for this particular week. So check that out. It's quite an extended piece, I suppose you might say. But before we do that, trivia. And this week's trivia is going to retain the science and technology theme. And the question for this particular week is this. It's short and sweet, actually. Which guitarist wrote the, and I quote, a survey of radial velocities in the zodiacal dust cloud? One more time. Which guitarist wrote a survey of radial velocities in the zodiacal dust cloud? Have a little think if you're academically inclined. Please no Googling, and I will tell you the answer. Have a little muse. I will tell you the answer at the end of this video. Before that, HiFi news. And we begin with an interconnect cable from the Polish outfit Melodika. It's called the BS2X Brown Sugar. With a Rolling Stones reference there, I guess. This new XLR double shielded interconnect cable is terminated with modified metal plugs from Nutric. So, all good quality stuff. The shielding braid is made of copper with a minimum 99% coverage, which helps resistance to interference. To further increase the shielding effectiveness, a layer of metallized mylar foil was used. Multi-gauge and twisted core technology is also used to reduce noise, along with tin silver soldering and spiral Litz technology. Price for a 1 meter interconnect is, and I only have a euro figure for now, €240. If you would like to know more, I'm going to put links down below. So check it out. Now, in case you missed this one, the British phonographic industry, the BPI, which is the sort of trade group, has reported that UK sales of vinyl LPs have hit their highest level since 1990. In percentage terms, sales of vinyl rose by 11.7% to 5.9 million units. That's the 16th year in a row that a rise in vinyl sales has been recorded. Oh, and not to be left out, cassette sales rose again as well for the 4th time in a row, up to 100,000 sales per year. And to be honest, I'm actually more surprised about that particular cassette figure than the vinyl figure. Interestingly, the traumatic, I suppose you could call it, the traumatic drop in CD sales that's been reported for so many years, it becomes like a regular thing. Well, that's leveling off now. It looks like CD sales are now beginning to find their level. Now, sure, in ultimate terms, the sales figures are small compared to streaming listening figures. But hey, that's fine. Physical media is a niche industry now, and I'm, for one, quite happy with that situation because it means the money men are not involved. These are the guys who had no interest in music at all, only cared where their next Ferrari was going to come from, and I'm glad they're out and looking at streaming, and yeah, good luck to them. For those of us who are more interested in physical media, we can get on in peace with our hobby. Now, of course, physical media doesn't just mean legacy acts. You've got Ed Sheeran, Lewis Capaldi, Lana Del Rey, and more who have released their works in vinyl. Taylor Swift has 3 albums in the UK's top 10 of vinyl sales, for example. So it's not just oldies like me who is buying vinyl. You would think, hey, commenting on the figures, the BPI itself said, and I quote, "Whilst LP sales have now been on the upward path for the past 16 years, it is encouraging to see a stabilization in demand for CD, as well as new generations of music fans falling in love with the cassette. It's giving people more choice than ever in how they enjoy their favorite music." Yeah, yeah. Next, Focal, the Aria Evo 10? Evo X? Evo X. I'll say Evo X. French outfit Focal has announced the Aria Evo X. Yeah, Evo X, range of speakers, successor to the Aria 900s. The range itself, well, it spans 5 models. You get the number 1 stand mounts, you get the number 2, 3 and 4 floor standers, and the Evo X center speaker for a surround setup. The two-way number 1 stand mount includes a 165mm flax based, because Focal go flax when they produce their drivers, a flax based mid-bass unit, plus up top a magnesium stroke aluminium M-shaped inverted dome tweeter. Inverted, well, it has that sort of concave look about it. That tweeter also features a wave guide. The 3-way number 2 floor stander includes the same tweeter as does all of the range incidentally, plus 2 160mm bass drivers, plus a 165mm mid-range driver. The large number 3 has an additional 160mm bass driver, while the number 4 floor stander has 2 bass drivers, a mid-range unit and a tweeter. They are all available this month, January 2024, and in terms of finish, you can buy them in black high gloss, prime walnut, or the new moss green high gloss finish. Who was it in Focal who said, "Look guys, moss green, we're going to sell a bundle of these if they are in moss green finish"? Trust me. I wonder if that guy is now on gardening leave, tending to his moss. Anyway, who knows? Maybe if you're in Focal, you could let me know. Prices. Well, the Aria Evo X number 1 is priced at, and I have pounds and dollars for you, £1,299 or $2,398 per pair. And that's quite a difference in price, hey? So I would guess my American friends are paying for Focal's shipping costs on that one. The Aria X number 2, we're looking at £2,999 or $4,798. Ouch. The Evo X number 3, £3,499, $5,198. The number 4 floor standers, £3,999, $5,998 per pair. As for the center speaker, £699, $999. Next up, we have incredibly expensive speakers. Incredibly expensive speakers from Sonus Faber from Italy. And these speakers mark the 40th anniversary of the company. The actual system is called the Suprema system, featuring 2 main columns, 2 subwoofers and 1 electronic crossover. This one's a bit different, hey? Priced at $750,000, oh yes, and out this month. You will note, I hope, that the front fascia is leather. So that's where the money's gone, hey? In addition, the Suprema has a 4-column system comprising 2 main columns and 2 subwoofers. The system includes that external electronic crossover. External, mind you. Each main column of the Suprema features 8 front-firing speakers in addition to 2 back-firing drivers. There is one brand new Camilla mid-range driver with a cellulose pulp diaphragm, one mid-tweeter and treated silk dome, plus one new super tweeter with a treated silk dome. A separate subwoofer system has been engineered to organize low-range response, regardless of the position of the columns in the listening environment. The subwoofer uses 2 380mm drivers featuring forged carbon fiber membranes and a neodymium magnet motor system. The electronic crossover dual mono, that is fully balanced, and it manages the integration between the Suprema main columns and those subwoofers. So a pretty complex system overall. Hey, I wonder how it sounds. I'm not sure I'll ever find out. Anyway, that's your news, folks. Let's go hint and tip. So to round off the speaker hints and tips that I've been doing of late, here's a third tip, a sort of final part of the hat trick, you might say. Something I've been promoting in a way via recent reviews, but it's worth addressing in a rounded, more general way. And it's this: when running hi-fi speakers, please pay attention to the feet. Speaker feet have to be one of the most ignored accessories in all of hi-fi. Why? I'm not really sure. Is it because speakers are seen as imposing items in and of themselves when compared to the rest of the hi-fi chain, so they can sort of look after themselves, or maybe that's the general feeling. Maybe it's they're wooden boxes with drivers that move a little bit, so why do they need specialist feet? Look, you may have gone to a lot of trouble taking care of the sonic signal to that point, buying in top quality components for your budget, maybe going out on a limb to buy decent hi-fi shelving, good quality cabling, maybe even further, maybe audio quality power blocks, grounding accessories, feet for your components like amplifiers, streamers, CD players, or whatever. So the question is this: why ruin it all? Why get to the very end of the signal's journey by throwing away all of that carefully curated signal by ignoring the anti-vibration accessories for your speakers? Now, to many, speaker anti-vibration accessories means this: you buy yourself a stand, or you properly screw in the supplied outriggers for a pair of floor standers. Well, that's not really the end of it, I'm afraid. You've got to ask yourself this: sure, you have great stands for your speakers, or cool looking outrigger constructions for your floor standers, but what do these things sit on? What connects those stands or those outriggers to the floor? Now, most of the time you're given a pair of cheap and nasty pointy cone things made from aluminium or aluminium steel or whatever. And the alternative to these spikes is maybe a felt pad underneath an aluminium foot. Most of the time there will be little or no thought given to the isolation properties of the outriggers or the stands themselves. Most brand-made stands, it's a generalization, but most brand-made stands, I would say, are really there to look good. They may pay a lip service to isolation, but I don't really feel they go far enough. So, look out for specialist anti-vibration feet from third-party companies who specialize in those particular feet. Companies who know their subject. Companies who research these feet and other isolation accessories. People who spend serious money researching this one niche area. Now, I've reviewed accessories from Stack Audio here in the UK. HRS in the USA is another excellent company. ISO Acoustics is another one I recommend. There's many out there. There's quite a few, actually, if you look around. Each offers their own preferred technology and build type, as you might expect, but all help to reduce vibration around the speaker cabinet. And no matter what your speaker designer tells you about anti-vibration this or that, vibration will not be totally eradicated from the speaker design. It will need help. I find that adding isolation feet focuses and tones the bass to begin with. That's the biggest change, I suppose. Bass sounds far more impactful and powerful, and because it no longer booms and bloats and covers other frequencies, the mids and the treble, they push out more detail because they're not being masked by this whopping great floppy bass frequency anymore. Hence, more high frequency detail can get through to your ears. There's more going on than this though, and I'll leave you to check out my relevant reviews either here on this page or on my website. Suffice to say, if you want to enhance the overall performance of your hi-fi system and give your sound signal a fighting chance to perform, then add specialist isolation feet to your speakers. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. And before we go, let's check out the answer to that rather techie question, the trivia question. And to remind you, the question is this: which guitarist wrote a survey of radial velocities in the zodiacal dust cloud? And the answer is Queen's Brian May. A survey of radial velocities in the zodiacal dust cloud is the title of the Queen guitarist's doctoral thesis. It was begun in Imperial College way back in 1972. It was finished over 30 years later. Well, better late than never, hey? Clever guy is old Brian. Anyway, now you know. And I'll be back with another one of these stupendous hi-fi news etc's next week. I hope you can join me. I'd love to have your company. Until then, folks, bye-bye for now.